Hi, second graders. Are you ready to pretend to be civil engineers? Are you ready to put all that you learned in this lesson into practice? I know you are. In this video, I'm going to go over instructions for our science project. Let's see what this is all about. You will find your project on pages 60 and 61 in your Inspire Science Unit 3 workbook. So open your workbook, and the activity you will find is called Design a Way to Reduce Wind Erosion. Okay? Now in this project, you will use what you have learned to design a way to reduce wind erosion on a beach. Okay? That's going to be our setting, beach. Well, you might be asking, how can you reduce wind erosion at a beach? That's a good question. Well, let's see if we can review what we have already learned in this lesson to help us answer this question. Okay, so what we already know is, we know that the waves on the beach can actually wear down and damage the beach over time, and they cause the coastal erosion. And you second graders will come to rescue and design a way to prevent this coastal erosion. Before we get too excited, we need to continue brainstorming and reviewing what we already know, so our way will be perfect and it will actually work, okay? But remember, not only beaches deal with this problem. Not only beaches have erosion problems. We already learned that also farmers have this problem, and we learned that farmers, the way they deal with this erosion, wind erosion, they plow curved rows of fields, you see, on hills, and they also plant windbreaks, okay, which is a row of trees that help block the wind, and that's how they protect their soil. So remember that not only beaches have that problem, also farmers deal with this problem. But in our project, we will focus on how we can help beaches. That's what we are going to work on. But keep this in mind, because what you're going to be building, it's very similar to what farmers do. So how do beaches prevent wind erosion? What people do, we build seawalls. We learned that already, that they build structures that are made of concrete or steel, and they are built at the edges of coastline, and they're made to protect the beach and the buildings near the beach. See what they do, that when the waves come in, since they're curved, okay, they stop the waves and they send the energy of the waves back to sea. That's the way the seawalls work. Okay. We also learned there's another way to do this, that we also build breakwaters. These are strips of concrete or rock that jut out into the sea. Okay, they're right here, jutting out into the sea, and behind them there's a seawall. And so this is a very effective way to prevent wind erosion, and the way they do this is they retain the sand to help bulk up the beach. So breakwaters are another great effective way to prevent wind erosion. In our project, we will design the more natural way to prevent erosion. We are not going to be building stone walls or breakwater. How are we going to do this? We are going to be planting specific plants on the shore, because we learned that when beach grass is planted, the roots of the grass clamp together under the sand to work like fingers, holding the sand in place. And that is what we're going to be simulating with our project. So what do you think? Do you think you're ready to help these two to enjoy their day on the beach? I think we can do this. Let's see what materials we need for this project. Okay, the materials you need for this project, well, safety first. You need to put on your safety goggles because you'll be working with the sand and blowing on the sand. So it's good to have safety goggles on. Then you will be using aluminum pan, sand, and various materials such as twigs, grass, rocks, and of course straw that you use for drinking. Now if you don't know what twigs are, I have a picture here for you of twigs, what they look like. You could use this material or grass, right? You will be using grass, real grass that you'll find outside your house, and rocks to make this design. But before you begin, make sure that you find some place outside or a large room where you can sweep it easily and you're not gonna make a mess and mommy won't be happy with you. So make sure that you find a place like that, someplace outside, okay? Now, we are going to first fill out this section here. And you have to define your problem. How can you, this is the problem we have. How can you reduce wind erosion at a beach? You're going to write that I can use, and then you will say what you can use to reduce wind erosion at a beach. Okay, so this is what you're going to write in this section of your project. Then you're going to move on and read how you are going to proceed with your project. Okay, what is the procedure? Now you have to be careful. They're reminding you to wear your safety goggles. And you're gonna make a model of a beach using your aluminum pan and your sand. And then you're gonna think about what you have learned about wind erosion and how to slow it down. So you're gonna think about all about that I mentioned in this video, or if you need to, you can always go back to the other videos that you have for science just to really prepared for this project. Now you're going to have your materials ready because you're going to create a windbreak. Then after you are done building your windbreak, you will test it by blowing on the sand through your straw. That's why you need your safety goggles on so the sand doesn't get in your eyes. And that's why you need to be outside so you don't make a mess. And then if it doesn't work, when you blow on the sand and it still can pass on to the other side of the wall that you created, then your windbreak is probably not effective and you might have to make it stronger. So you will have to make any changes that you need to make sure that your windbreak is really working and it's really preventing the wind from passing through and causing erosion on the beach that's or on the area that's behind it. Well, after you made your changes, maybe you added taller twigs, or maybe you added more grass. Maybe you even ended up using different material to make the windbreak stronger, and then you will have to retest it. Okay, so whatever changes you made, make sure that you retest your windbreak. And then you're ready to move on to your next page, page 61. In page 61, you will answer next question. Did your windbreak reduce wind erosion? And explain. Well, here in this section, you will write yes or no, and you will explain what happened when you blew on the coast of the beach. So if you blew on it, did it reduce the wind or it didn't really work? So you just have to write that in this section. And then you will move on to number 7, where you will draw and label, okay, your final wind erosion. Just remember that in here, you don't forget to label your drawing and that you will be creative. Remember, this is a science project, so we encourage you to use colors, and remember, neatness is part of evaluation. So all that you write in all of these sections, your handwriting has to be neat, and if you draw your picture and label it, that also has to be neat, neatly colored, and just show your creativity. So all the materials that you have in your pan, you have to label so we know what is it that you used and that you drew. And to finish this page, you will have to communicate one more information, and that is to describe how you could make your solution better. As we know, sometimes we might have obstacles when we work on projects. Maybe you haven't had some materials on hand and you wish you would have had them. So here you would write what you would like to have and you didn't have. What materials you would use if you would have them on hand. So just write I would use, and you would write the materials that you would use if you would have them. Now, thank you again for using neat handwriting to complete all the sections in these 2 pages. Now, after you're done with all this, you will just upload pages 60 and 61 to Portfolio. Remember, clear images, please. And then you will, to a different portfolio, upload photo of yourself with your project. You could either hold it in your arms or you could just have it placed next to you. Just make sure that you and your project are on the picture, and then you will upload that to a separate portfolio. So you will have 2 different portfolios to upload this project to. Very good. Now it's your turn. 2nd graders, turn it in by Friday, and I wish you all the best. I know you can do a great job with this project. God bless you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.